It is Kane and Jeff, and we're excited to be here back with you at the Infinite Mindset Podcast, the leadership pillar. And of course, Jeff and I work with leaders, executive CEOs, founders all over the world on the AI adoption, as well as, of course, we're the co-founders and co-teachers of the AI Leadership and Cultural Technology Change Certification Program at Industry Rockstar. Today, we want to talk about shadow AI and how it is affecting and changing the face of what leaders are doing, because if you are a leader or a founder or CEO or executive here, what you may or may not know is that most companies have already had their employees roll out AI, whether they have or not, and in ways that they may or may not actually have wanted to.
Yeah, there's this uncomfortable truth that's happening in companies right now, and that's basically that AI is actually transforming right now what's already started. It's already literally the AI adoption's already started behind the scenes without the CEO's permission. So half of the workforce is quietly, literally using these tools, and you're probably thinking as a leader, I got this under control, but generally they don't. So let's talk about what it means for us as leaders in companies.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, I guess the question is, why don't we discuss a little bit, why are people using it already while their leaders are kind of debating whether to adopt it or not?
Well, they're using it because it's a thing called shadow AI, right? Because they need to keep up. So what's actually happening is more than half the knowledge workers admit using AI tools without approval. As 24% of people are actually doing it regularly. And that's what's happening right now. So I think that what they're doing is the employees are trying to keep up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is they're very effective in helping people be more productive. So employees are now doing that. They are taking it on themselves to get things done. They want to get things done faster. They want to have more time for themselves. They want to be able to get done with work and go home. Plus, it's actually helping them do a better job than what they would do on their own. That's kind of the whole idea behind the intelligence. So if you're a leader that's actually wondering whether you should roll out an AI adoption strategy, guess what? Your staff probably already have.
I guess it's like a reverse adoption. It's a reverse adoption that they can't see.
Yeah. So you probably don't have an adoption problem. You probably have an adoption problem that you can't see, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the suggestion as to how, if leaders are looking to actually find out how many or what's going on in terms of their organization, what would be a great approach that they could use, that we've been using, or that we would endorse for leaders to understand how bad their shadow AI situation is?
Well, I suggest that they could potentially do this is run what we call a no blame AI usage audit. Okay, what that actually means is giving the people amnesty. It's like, and ask them what they're actually using it for, and making it safe. We talk a lot about in our AI adoption courses, keeping it safe enough for the people to say what they're actually doing and making mistakes.
Yeah, because 90% of executives right now believe that they have visibility into AI use, but most are wrong. That false confidence is exactly why the risk keeps growing, and it's a huge liability, both from data. You've got all sorts of issues about IP, intellectual property, and how are people actually building their processes, and are they going to take them with them, or do you have a process for people to be using AI at your office and then contributing their work plans, their workflows, their new work redesigns to the company systems, or are they just going to walk out with that with their own AI?
Well, I think that what's actually happening is that a lot of leaders right now it's not that the danger is not who's behind, it's actually the ones who are certain that they're not. That's a big red flag there, because basically some of the leaders out there are saying we need to have more policy, but actually we have to look at the gap between the policy and is anyone even following it itself, and they got to test that gap.
Yeah, I mean, there's reports that are coming out of Meta. Employees are saying they're forcing us to use AI to.
Oh yeah, they're forcing. Right, I heard that.
Yeah. So do you have your staff on their own individual plans? Do you have them on a team plan? And who's going to own that? So one of the biggest conversations going on in the corporate right now is who owns all the work that your employee is doing on their AIs without a proper team plan, without a proper governance, meaning you actually having a strategy, discussing that with your team and actually helping them understand how is it going to work? What's the expectation? If they're working on AI, what if they take that home and they continue to work in the account at home? Do you have a governance plan, or are you just letting your employees kind of play with it without really properly structuring it at your company?
Well, here's what's interesting is that I've heard of companies out there that are actually completely banning it. Okay, they're banning it, and actually that completely backfires. So governing it actually is the thing that wins, right? So if you start blocking the tools instead of actually, and it doesn't actually stop the usage. So they think if I just stop, people are going to stop the usage. Actually, people just get better at hiding it, right? So the win is actually enabling safe adoption from the open, out in the open, not driving it deeper underground. It's like it's like the dark web of usage.
Yeah. So here's some of the solutions that we employ at our clients that we work with, which is essentially to create either anonymous, if that is one way to do it. So you can have anonymous surveys as to who's using AI, just to understand the scope of the challenge. Then to actually communicate that the idea is that you actually want to foster a experimentation culture. You want people to be able to be using it. You want to encourage them to use it. You want to encourage them to actually build the data, build the company brains, bring in their skills, and actually build or share skills, Claude skills or Codex skills, things like that, so that you are now sharing in that. And so the first thing we have to do is communicate, let people know in your company and your team that you would like a open culture around AI. And then to actually set up the opportunity for them to do that. Ask them what they need. Are they looking for subscriptions? Do they need the opportunity to be able to do reports or meetings? Like, ask them how they want to use it, because you can ignore it or mandate it, but companies that are actually doing that are pretty much finding employees are using it anyways, because they don't want to be eliminated or isolated from the growth that's going on in the world of people that are actually becoming professional users of it.
Well, I mean, how are they supposed to compete with the people that are quietly using it next to them, that are outperforming them, already getting things done? I mean, basically fear is driving it. Fear often will drive those AIs into the shadows. So it'll actually drive it in the shadows. And then when the leader can bring that permission out into the light, that's actually when the leaders can lead it again, and we can bring governance into it.
Yeah. So shadow AI shouldn't be a security story. It's a leadership story. And your people will tell you exactly what they need if you ask them, instead of having to secretly use it. And the leaders who are winning this, they're not cracking down. They're bringing the usage and the needs into the light. They're discussing it with their teams. They're setting up safe experimentation protocols. They're discussing how to govern the whole thing, and then giving them free reign to experiment and use it in the ways that they want to and need to. That's going to be your path to the best success, not to shut it down or try to ignore it.
Well, okay. How is this affecting middle management right now? Because what seems to be happening is that the shadow AI is out there, it's being used, and it's affecting middle management. So what's happening is there's all this pressure right now to cut middle management too, right? So to look fast, lean, making decisions. So what no one is telling people generally is you're about to be cut. The exact people who make the change stick. That's at middle management. And people don't want to feel it out, like, as the AI rollout. And as it begins to stall, actually with no one left. They don't want anyone to where middle managers just cut, okay? So what do you think, how is this shadow AI, and how is it affecting, is it causing middle management to be cut? What's going on?
Well, I think some leaders are thinking about replacing roles with agents, which is not the smartest way to do it. We want to replace tasks with agents.
Can you say more about that? What does that mean?
Well, it means that you want to take the people that you're working with you and actually look at what tasks the agents can actually do, not how to get rid of the people in those roles. We want to look at how the agents can actually support them in their tasks, maybe free up some of their time or scale their tasks so you can actually handle more. You could end up with the same people being just as busy with agents, but seeing a growth in revenue or growth in profit, depending on where you're using it in the company. But that's all about looking at the tasks, not replacing the roles. Most companies that have replaced people for agents have essentially rehired back on people once they understood their process. And so it's effortful, it's expensive, it's emotional, when in fact they could actually just start at the beginning by having their managers set up and look at their workflows, start to have AI agents taking over those workflows, and instead of getting rid of them, thinking about how can you repurpose them to scale up the things that agents are not good at or need help with.
So basically, before any move or cut, they want to basically run a task versus role audit on that layer, right? And then list what the AI or the agent can actually take and what a human can carry only, and defining those roles.
Yeah, I mean, your strongest managers and teams should become more valuable in an AI era, not less. And so if you're sorting for who you can get rid of, you're playing the wrong leadership game.
So what would you suggest when we work with leaders? We often will sort for something different than who to get rid of. Well, what do you suggest that they pay attention to?
Well, I think that they want to ask themselves, what if your best managers became totally gone in your company? What would you need the most, just right now? And then let's actually essentially have them do that and replace everything else with agents. So instead of cutting the layer that carries all your transformation, you want to build a redeployment plan where we're redeploying our managers and all of our people into new roles. Maybe they're in the more visionary roles. Maybe they're in auditing the systems. Maybe they're enabling the culture. Maybe they're driving adoption. I mean, you can start to re-enable them into different ways and make your strongest managers your best leaders during an AI.
So it's actually AI is kind of creating a brand new demand of actual adoption. It's actually enabling and supporting a culture, as long as, especially if you're looking for how to build stronger managers and how they can become more valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. We'll leave it there for today. Thanks for joining us on the Infinite Mindset podcast. And if you are looking to continue to evolve your leadership, let us know. You can send us a message here or check us out at industryrockstarevents.com. And we'll look forward to serving you and your teams in any way we can. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.